Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Milwaukee PBS special From MPS to Success. I'm your host, Luis De Leon, and today we will follow 5 alums from Milwaukee Public Schools and their success stories. We're also going to find out how MPS helped shape them into the people they are today. Stay tuned.
2009, yeah.
I went to Riverside University High School and I graduated in 2013.
I went to Riverside University High School and I am a class of 1997 graduate.
I went to Milwaukee Tech High School, or known as Milwaukee Trading Technical High School, and I graduated the year of '86.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. A lot of success stories come from MPS, even though some people may think differently. Now, MPS is short for Milwaukee Public Schools, and the reputation has been up and down in past years, whether it's with the program instability, safety concerns for students, and much more. Despite the issues, resilience and success has come from this school system. And with that, there are success stories where some MPS graduates have even gone on to become city politicians and aldermen. For instance, former Wisconsin Senator Herb Kohl went to Washington High School. He is also, of course, a former owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. Alderman Ashanti Hamilton went to Riverside University High School, and now he is the District 1 Alderman Council President. Alderman Hamilton was re-elected in 2016, and he was originally elected back in 2004. Khalif Rainey went to Riverside University High School as well. He is the District 7 Alderman, and Alderman Rainey has also served as a member of the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors. Now that's only a few stories. Let's meet 2 other MPS grads and see how MPS changed their lives for the better.
My success story is after I graduated from Riverside University High School in 2013. I received a very generous scholarship to study at Columbia College in Chicago, where I later became, the student body president on campus. And I was able to have a lot of internships with the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of Milwaukee. I've interned on Capitol Hill, and then once I returned from Washington, D.C., that's when I started the Scholarship Foundation. And what's really unique about it is that majority of my board members, they all come from MPS in some way or capacity, but they're educators at MPS, they're parents who have students who go to MPS, who have students who attend MPS. So I guess that would be my success story, just the different processes that I had to go through to create the foundation.
Though I come from living somewhere everywhere in the city because financial instability had us bouncing around. Though we come from sleeping 3, 4, 5 in a 2-bedroom, you know what I'm saying, duplex or so. So I know I came a long way, but there's still ways to go. So my success story is just that of a young man who grew up on 20th and Locust, you know, and growing up on 20th and Locust, it's the ghettos, obviously, it's poverty, obviously, it's the slums, obviously. So we saw the uglier side of Milwaukee. The underbelly is what they call it, prostitution, drugs, so on and so forth. But growing up in that environment also inspired me to be better than that environment. But now I don't got to lead that environment to be better than that environment. They say the goal is not to lead the hood, it's to transform the hood and make it a better place to live. And so that's my goal. That's my success story. I came from the hood. I love the hood because it's what made me who I am, but I don't love the hood the way it is. And so with that, that's why we introducing this healing to the game.
I would say that MPS played a valuable role into the person I am today through all of the mentorships and the educators that I've had over the years. They definitely helped me find what I want to do, and they encouraged me to not stop and to keep going.
MPS did for me. I was used to coming from smaller school environments, middle school, elementary school, even went to some smaller high schools. So transitioning into Rufus King, I went there my junior year and my senior year. Transitioning there was difficult to assimilate and integrate with the population. I was different, to say the least. And I think what MPS specifically did for me was show me how different I was from those around me, from my peers, not in an arrogant way, not in a negative way, but I did experience bullying. I did experience people talking about me because I looked different, or I chose to, instead of play basketball, read a book, you know what I mean, or watch a lecture or a documentary, or, you know what I'm saying, just the conversation was different. So MPS for me, how it made me the man I am was it showed me who I was, and it showed me who I wanted to become. Because I knew that I wasn't comfortable in the skin that I was in at the time that I was in MPS, and I always knew that a greater was coming. And so I think if I was to be kept in those smaller school environments and not put into an MPS school, I wouldn't have had that socialization factor that kind of woke me up towards having my own voice and being the man that I am today.
In high school, I was very active, so I did student government, I did forensics. So all of those teachers that put in extra hours definitely paid off because they showed me that even though I'm at school from 8 to 3, that they were just as committed to my education as I was, that they stayed extra hours, oftentimes not getting paid, to really mold me into becoming a leader. Maybe that was through being on student council or being on forensics or doing the morning announcements. Those were all educators that put in extra work that showed me that they really cared.
MPS, I have friends, man, who we've been friends since then. You know what I mean? I know people who we've been friends since 2009. That's almost, 10 years now of friendship almost. The goods to MPS, I would say, is, especially nowadays, they're kind of trying to change the culture and the dynamics of things within the MPS system. For one, it did prepare me a little bit better academically than the smaller school settings that I had went to. And not to say that they didn't do a great job of preparing me academically, but Rufus King, I had AP classes, I had the study hall, big old study hall class, and those type of things prepared me academically, not even for secondary education like college, but it gave me just necessary basic skills, being able to process information, understand information, being able to use basic math concepts, being able to, understand government. I think I had an AP government class. So yeah, for me, dealing with MPS and through Rufus King has definitely been a blessing. And then I taught this year at an MPS school. I taught at Gensling through an artist education program called Arts at Large. And I love that they're trying to push to get more arts integrated into some MPS schools. I absolutely love it. They're so necessary.
The mission of the Milwaukee's Finest Scholarship Foundation is to encourage all students who have ambition for higher education by providing an equal opportunity for financial assistance. Pretty much we give out scholarships up to $1,000 each for Milwaukee County high school seniors so they can go pursue their dreams.
When I be seeing young men your ages and older and we ain't getting no paper, we ain't doing this, that, and the other, that's got to be, for me, one of the most frustrating things in the world, because at a point where I had my son, I had holes in my shoes. What I did with Heal the Hood, I looked up like 10 different
Heal
the Hood, again, is the campaign that we have 2 different arms. We have an outreach arm, which is our annual block party campaign, where fortunately with our partnerships, we were able to service more than 3,000 people last year through 4 block parties, where we gave away books and school supplies and book bags and free food and all different type of resources. We had Jakari Kicks for Kids. He came to one of the events and gave away shoes, plenty pair of shoes. So that's our outreach campaign. And then we have an in-school campaign, which is where you see what you kind of witnessed today, where we come in and we facilitate workshops dealing with spoken word and literacy, leadership, character development, culture, social justice, things of the nature like that.
I would say that my success has helped other people, whether that is through inspiring them to follow their dreams as well. A lot of times students feel like they can't accomplish something. So when they do see that we're the same age and I can start a foundation, they can start a foundation, or they can own a business. So I say that it helped inspire other students and other people to really get them motivated, but also providing scholarships to the students in Milwaukee County definitely helps them pursue their dreams, whether they go to a private or public school.
Success, for me, success is making sure my son smiles. I want 100,000. Don't get me wrong. I want 700,000. No, please believe. Don't get me wrong. But I do find success in the smaller things. When my students come into the office and they tell me, "Hey, Mr. Butler, I went up 20 points on my test. I went up 10 points in my last reading assessment." That gave me life, and that's successful because that means something inside of me pushed and motivated them to be great and to be better and to do better. And so that I can appreciate. Success for me has always been defined by things that are not monetary. Seeing your mother smile. A friend of mine, he just lost his mom 2 or 3 days ago. So the fact that I can call my mom and say, "Hey, mama, how you doing?" So on, that's successful to me. That's successful to me. So success, they say some of the best things aren't actually things. And with that in mind, that's how I view success.
I would just say to all current Milwaukee Public School students to don't give up, to keep on going for their dreams. Regardless of what people tell them about their school district, there's a lot of success that comes from Milwaukee Public Schools, and I want them to feel great to be a product of Milwaukee Public Schools.
You all know Ford cars, Ford Motor. Henry Ford, when he started a long time ago, he was in court one time, and Henry Ford, though, he had a real basic school. He probably didn't, I don't even think he went to high school on top of that, but he revolutionized the automotive industry. And so he was in court. The judge asked him, how are you, with the limited education that you have, how are you able to do these successful things that you do? He said, I don't have to know how to do it. I hire somebody else who knows how to do it. So with that theory in mind, like for somebody to say, because you go to public school, you can't be successful, it's not about the environment you're in. It's about what's inside of you that you want to make something manifest, and by any means, you're gonna make it happen. Because there are students in private school who fail. There are students in public school who succeed and excel phenomenally. You know what I mean? So I would tell that particular student who's dealing with that type of criticism, man, no matter where you coming from, no matter where you at, whether you stay on Burleigh, Center Street, so on and so forth, keep pushing. Stay focused on that vision, just like I was kind of telling the students in there. As a matter of fact, I was telling them how pregnancy, when you delivering the baby, they teach you to focus on a small point.
Truly inspiring stories there. Ajamu and Jarrell accomplished so much already to be in their 20s, starting a scholarship foundation to help other MPS seniors get into college. Now moving forward, joining us in the studio this afternoon is Assistant Professor Marilyn Jones, a former MPS student and now an Assistant Professor at Cardinal Stritch University. Professor Jones, welcome to the show.
Hi, Luis. Thank you for having me. It's
Hey,
a pleasure.
It's a pleasure indeed. So tell us a little bit about your experience with MPS. What school did you go to and what year did you graduate?
Okay, I graduated in '99, and I have to say I'm a proud graduate of South Division High School.
Right, and so we were talking before, you immigrated from Costa Rica when you were 12 years old, is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So take us through that. How is that, how do you think that enhanced your experience at MPS?
Okay, well, I attended a middle school, Lincoln Center Middle School of the Arts, and there was a process adjusting. You know, I think they also had a bilingual program there, but it was not until I got to South Division High School that I really had the opportunity to, you know, feel like I belonged, that it was okay to be from a different place, from a different country, and to have an accent. But when I got to South Division, I was just so happy and so thankful for the opportunity to learn in a bilingual setting. I was adjusting, I was learning the language. That was difficult. You know, it was a process. My biggest fear back at that time was that I was going to disappoint everybody, that I was going to fail my parents, that I couldn't do well in school because of the language barrier. But because at South Division they have the bilingual program, and it's such a great program, I was able to learn in my own language while I was still learning English and the vocabulary I needed to go on to college. So it was an overall very positive experience.
And now clearly your experience has helped you, so take us through what happened after MPS.
Okay, after MPS, I was very sad to leave South Division because that was my second home, to tell you the truth. But I went on to Marquette University, where I did my undergraduate degree and my master's, and I have continued my education. I'm currently working on a PhD at UW-Madison.
And so what's the next step for you after the PhD then?
Well, I'm currently working at Cardinal Stritch University. I'm very happy there, so I'm sure I will continue there. I chair the Modern Languages Department, and I feel that is a place where I can make a difference and continue to put into practice what I learn from my teachers at South Division.
And so how do you think, I mean, MPS must have opened your perspective. So what was that transition like going to college, going to Marquette for your undergrad?
Right. It was challenging, but it was positive at the same time. I think for me, I was a very good student. I kind of had that in me, and I took AP classes. So I took AP English, History, AP Spanish classes. So I was gaining, the skills that I needed for college. But for me, what really, really set the difference was just that I got the support in the direction I needed at the time. Being a first-generation student, no one in my family had gone to college. I didn't know what it was like to apply to a university. So the teachers at South Division and the counselors, they walked me to the counselor's office and they showed me where I could apply for scholarship and what was out there for me.
That must give you confidence.
It did. I had the mentors I needed at the time, and that's why I think I can share my story with you today. The skills were there academically, but just the confidence and you know, the fact that I could believe in myself because someone believed in me helped me do well at Marquette.
Well, that's great to hear, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and sharing your experiences. We will return to Marilyn and more on her story, but first, let's take a look at two MPS grads, Mike Hutchinson and Freddie Coleman, and their success stories through Milwaukee Public Schools. Take a look.
Story is I have been able to walk the city of Milwaukee with my head held high. I am a co-owner of a barbecue business, Brisket Boys Barbecue, with my partner who actually is not an MPS graduate for what it's worth, but we have been able to do great things in the community. We serve great barbecue. We've won trophies for our barbecue, and we have been able to, I guess in so many words, I guess our motto, so to speak, is to be able to provide great barbecue to people that are just like average folks that don't really know how to barbecue, but you know, want to get great barbecue. So.
Play with you a little bit. Look up. See if you can hold your balance. I started my yoga business because I just felt like that I had something to offer to people because of yoga and what it offers to everyone. I just felt like I didn't want to just hold it for myself, and I just felt like it was another gift from the Creator that I must share with everyone.
There's probably many of schools that I could have went to, be that private or other schools, but MPS kind of groomed me, mainly with the diversity and also with the teachers. The teachers play a huge part, and they deserve a lot of credit, probably much more credit than they get now, but yeah, without MPS, I'm certain that I wouldn't be as far going as I am now.
It wasn't just the curriculum, you know, from MPS. It was the people, it was my friends that I grew up with. It was the neighborhood children who walked to school with me. It was the families that were created from MPS. So from my standpoint, yes, you know, it helped me, and it helped me to gain some lifelong friends.
I used to host an event at my house. It was called Mi Casa Su Casa. I had that event for 10 years at my house, and it would be anywhere from 100 people to 200 people. One year, everything was free. It was just a end of the summer event that I was doing to kind of just have a good time. Adults having a good time and getting an opportunity to meet people, networking opportunity. So, long story short, one year we decided that I was going to try something new. We were going to try something new with the food that was being offered. So I decided that let's try brisket. The brisket went over well, and that was roughly about 5 years ago. So the brisket went over well with the people that were in attendance, and we kind of, you know, my partner and I, Anthony Jackson, we kind of bettered the recipe, so to speak, and it turned into a business, a small business endeavor. His wife came up with the name, Brisket Boys, and we just kind of ran with it. It's been a success, so to speak, so far. We still have a little bit to go, but for the most part, people enjoy it, and that's essentially the goal. You know, for people to enjoy, for us to provide great barbecue, and at the same time, people to enjoy it. So it's a success. The great thing about it, though, is that essentially we enjoy doing it. You know, there's no joy bigger than someone saying that you're doing a good job. And you know, when people try our stuff, and we're not even on a large scale as other barbecue entities. We're just small scale now. You know, who's to say what's going to happen in the future? But it's an opportunity for we would like for people to just be able to thoroughly enjoy it. Just thoroughly enjoy the what we bring to the table, and we cook just everything. You know, anything that's possible to be barbecue, we probably have.
My definition of success is when you've given all that you have within you to give, and after that, you know, there's nothing much you can do, but just be proud in the moment that you are in when you reach your pinnacle.
Definition of success is essentially doing what you like and what you love to do, and enjoying it wholeheartedly. You know, being able to go to work and it not be work is something that I would deem successful. And you know, as long as everybody is happy with you doing it, and you're
Well, Mike sure has my order after watching all of that good-looking barbecue, and Freddie is obviously doing great for himself and helping others with yoga. Now, returning to the studio now, we have Assistant Professor Marilyn Jones. Ms. Jones, Freddie and Mike just shared with us their successful stories. Now we want to know, what's your success story?
Well, I have to agree with them. It's, first of all, doing what you love to do. You know, it's not about the money. It's not about being the best. It's just giving your best at anything you do. The journey is very important. You should set goals for yourself, but just what you learn from a journey, even if you don't get to reach all of the goals at the moment that you want them, it's that journey. That's what makes you successful, not giving up. And once you're there and once you reach the majority of your goals, why not share that with others? Why not give back? To me, it's a combination of those three things.
Now, you are an assistant professor, and it's funny because we were speaking before about how the MPS teachers really affected your schooling and your experience. Does that stick with you to this day?
That's something I took with me, and I'm never letting go. You know, everything that I learned from my teachers at the time, the courage they had to, you know, help their students not be defined by a negative narrative. The courage they had, you know, when there was so much going on, you know, violence, poverty. I mean, I'm sure they heard so many different stories. They never allowed their students to get defined by that. To me, they were role models, they were heroes, they were mentors. And that's exactly who I want to be today. You know, I want to give back to my students. I want to encourage them to expand their horizons, because that's exactly what my teachers and staff at South Division and counselors did for me.
So do you think you're achieving that thus far in your profession? How do you see?
I try every day. I try to make a difference for my students. I encourage them to apply for scholarships. I encourage them to do things that they think they might not be able to do because, you know, they're afraid. I just tell them, go, you know, you have the abilities. Just, I let them know that I believe in them. And I try to find opportunities for them. Sometimes they don't know. And I do that because I know what it was like for me being, you know, from an immigrant family. My world was very small. It was limited. But, you know, that's why I'm saying, you know, we need to help our students expand their horizons, because someone did that for me. I remember one time I was invited to a national conference at Washington, D.C., and I was like, no, I can't do that. You know, I'm scared. I don't have the money. I've never been outside Milwaukee. And I had teachers who said, no, you cannot do that. This is a great opportunity. And they helped me write letters, and they helped me raise the money. They even contributed to the cause. And I went. Sure enough, I went, and that changed my life. Seeing so many young leaders at the time, like me,
Right. Now, before you talked about the negative commentary that MPS sometimes receives. There's a little inconsistency with the reputation that it has. What would you tell an MPS student today, and how would you encourage them?
You need to do what you want. If you want to succeed, you should go ahead and work for your dreams. I took advantage of every opportunity that South Division offered me. I was involved in all kinds of extracurricular activities because I had a curious mind, because I wanted to learn. I was president of the Honor Society, but I was also a color guard. Like I went to the extremes. I just enjoyed what the school had to offer to me at that time, and I think the students should take advantage of those opportunities.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Jones, for coming in this afternoon and sharing with us your experiences and sharing your story. And that is all the time we have this afternoon. I hope these stories inspire public school students to keep pushing towards their dreams and to never give up. After all, that is the impact community stories are supposed to have. Thanks again for watching From MPS to Success. Once again, I'm Luis De Leon. Stay informed and have a great day.